everyone, welcome back to the Amber Serpent. My name is Gulvig. So I hope everyone out there is having a happy holiday season. I took a break last week and I'm really excited to be back. So this is our last week of 2017. So let's take a look and see what it has in store for us, shall we? Okay, so as always, we're going to blow the intention that whatever serves our highest good at this point in time is the message that will be revealed for us for guidance for the next week. And blow the intention into the runes. Rune number 1, rune 2, and 3. All right, so for those of you who may be new to this process, I'm going to give you a closer look at the runes before I reveal them, and you'll intuitively pick which ones draw your attention the most. So if there's one primarily that draws your attention the most, then that's your rune. If it's more of like prioritizing the runes, where 3 seems to be the most important, followed by 1 and 2, for example, then perhaps it'll be more about prioritizing which energies are most potent for you in the next coming week. So I'll give you a closer look. Rune number 1, 2, and number 3. Okay. I'll just give you a moment. All right, rune number 1 is Nauthiz. Rune 2, Thurisaz. And number 3, Rhytho. Okay, so as always, the runes, they typically talk to one another. Their energies they coalesce with one another. So they're not just individual batteries of energy. They have a message that coalesces together. So for me, Nauthiz, which is very interesting, it's the need fire. It's the friction that creates a desired result. So you can take a look, you can think of it as like 2 sticks rubbing together to create fire, to create a much needed change. What's interesting about this particular rune is typically when this comes up, there are challenges that are imminent that we are having to overcome. There may be some changes underfoot that maybe are a little bit challenging to maneuver through, but nonetheless, these are challenges that are needing to take place in order for something productive to happen. It may also be that we are being challenged in our life to make decisions that would serve our highest good. So for example, like people don't typically make changes in their life when they're comfortable. I mean, that's just kind of human nature. It takes something to happen for us to desire enough in order to put enough action into place to make certain changes take place. We have to want it bad enough to put in the effort. So typically speaking, you know, when Nauthiz comes up, there is something to that extent that is taking place. Now what's very interesting is it's right next to Thurisaz. So Thurisaz is a very protective rune, and it's also a rune that can, in magical workings, can literally inject, because it's like a thorn, you know, it kind of looks like that, doesn't it? Can literally inject an intention into a magical working. So for me, what I see is between this is the protective element, which is like a hedge of roses or a bush or something of that nature. A hedge is what separates the wild and the world of man. So the wild is where we go to, the shaman would go to get information, magical workings, and would come back with wisdom. But most folks didn't live in the wild. They would live in the, I guess, more tame world of man. So the hedge was like a protective barrier. So through the challenges that are happening, probably we're wrapping up 2017, assessing like what happened in 2017. 2017 was kind of hard for a lot of people that I know. Are there things that we are assessing in 2017 that's kind of creating a little bit of friction in us? We're not really quite too happy with maybe how 2017 goes, or maybe maybe all in all it was okay, but there are certain parts of it that are a little bit disappointing. Some things that we might want to do better in 2018. And so that might inject that friction with enough desire to move ahead, which is Rydho. Rydho is a journey rune, and in some texts they relate it to a cart or a wagon. I personally do like that visualization because it's not the horse and rider, for example. It's like the big movement. Everything is being moved. And that's what's happening. We're moving from one year into another, making plans, dreaming, visualizing, imagining what potentially could happen in this next year. And it's really from the friction of this following year, perhaps some hard-won lessons that we have learned, that we're going to be able to take this friction and make something useful for it as we move ahead with Rydho. Rydho and Thorisaz are both very protective runes. So this whole process, whether or not it is a graceful one or it is one that is full of a lot of challenges and discomfort for you, whatever it feels like, it is protected. You are protected. It will be important at this time to make healthy boundaries between you, others, and to state very clearly, not just to other people, but also to your subconscious and any kind of intentional working that you're doing, maybe creating vision boards or doing some sort of ceremony to magnify that intention. It's going to be very important for it to be very clear. And so, for example, I oftentimes will hear the word abundance used in a lot of intentions. Folks, we are abundant no matter what. So you can be abundant in debt just as much as you can be abundantly wealthy, for example. So that is an example of some verbiage to make sure that we are asking specifically for what we need. So in that case, personally, I like to use the word prosperity. Or if I'm going to use abundance, I would use the word an abundance of time, an abundance of wealth, an abundance of love, an abundance of whatever it is that I want to have an abundance of. So be very specific and inject the friction that we may already feel or the friction that's already taking place in order for us to make the needed changes that need to take place in order for us to go where we need to go. But being very specific as to where that destination is. So whatever is being cleared from the fire that's going to happen from the friction is going to make space specifically for something that is going to serve our best and highest good and allow us to be more fulfilled in 2018. So that is our Rune Reading Wednesday for the last week of 2017. I hope that it's a good one for you. And I would love to hear your comments and your questions and any of your insights below. Have a wonderful rest of your week, and I'll see you next Wednesday. Thanks. Bye-bye.